Your biggest enemy isn't the market. The real battle happens in your head. Here's something nobody tells beginners. Investing isn't difficult because of math. It isn't difficult because of charts. And it definitely isn't difficult because of economics. It's difficult because you're human. And humans are emotional. The market knows that. Every single day it tests your patience, your discipline, your confidence, your fear. The biggest losses I've ever seen weren't caused by bad investments. They were caused by emotional decisions. Imagine this. You invest your first $5,000. You're excited. You finally started. Then, 2 weeks later, the market drops 15%. Your investment is now worth $4,250. Immediately, your brain starts screaming, "Sell before it gets worse. You made a mistake. Get out while you still can." That voice feels logical, but history shows it's usually wrong.
What history keeps teaching us. Let's travel back in time. In 2008, the global financial crisis hit. Banks collapsed, companies disappeared, millions of people panicked. News headlines claimed the financial system was ending. Many investors sold everything. Now, fast forward. The market recovered, then reached new all-time highs. Those who stayed invested didn't just recover, many multiplied their wealth. Now, jump to 2020. COVID shut down the world. Airports were empty, businesses closed, stock markets crashed. People thought capitalism itself was in danger. Again, millions sold. Again, those who stayed invested came out stronger. The lesson? Markets panic, markets recover. People panic, many never recover because they leave too soon. Imagine planting a tree. The first winter arrives. The leaves disappear. It looks dead. Would you dig it up? Of course not, because you understand seasons. The stock market has seasons too. Bull markets, bear markets, booms, crashes, recoveries. If you expect endless sunshine, you're investing with unrealistic expectations.
Warren Buffett's greatest advantage. People think Warren Buffett became wealthy because he picks incredible companies. That's only half the story. His greatest advantage was time. Buffett bought businesses. Then he waited. Years, sometimes decades. While everyone else chased the next opportunity, he let compounding do the work. Imagine planting an oak tree. You don't wake up every morning, dig it out, check the roots, then plant it somewhere else. You leave it alone because growth takes time. Investing works the same way. Let's compare two investors. Sarah starts investing at age 25. She invests $300 every month. At age 35, she stops forever. That's it, only 10 years of investing. Now meet James. James starts at age 35. He invests the exact same amount, $300 every month. But he keeps investing until age 65, 30 years. Guess what? In many scenarios, Sarah still ends up with more money. Why? Because she gave time more opportunities to compound. That's how powerful starting early really is. Time beats effort, almost every single time. Stop trying to be smarter than the market. Here's something that changed my perspective forever. The stock market doesn't reward intelligence. It rewards discipline. Some of the smartest people in the world lose fortunes. Not because they lack knowledge, because they lack patience. Meanwhile, ordinary people quietly invest every month, ignore the headlines, and become millionaires. Not overnight, over decades. That's not exciting, but it works. And honestly, I'd rather be boring and wealthy than exciting and broke. So now you understand something incredibly important. Buying investments isn't the hardest part. Holding them is. What eventually, every investor faces one difficult question. When should you actually sell? Because contrary to what many people believe, never sell isn't always the right answer. Sometimes selling is exactly the smart thing to do, but only for the right reasons.
When smart investors actually sell. Selling isn't failure. One of the biggest myths in investing is this: if you sell, you lose. That's simply not true. Selling isn't emotional. Selling is a decision. The problem is, most people sell for the wrong reasons. They sell because they're scared, not because the investment has changed. And fear is one of the most expensive emotions in the financial world. Imagine buying a beautiful house. A week later, someone knocks on your door and says, I think houses in this neighborhood might become cheaper next month. Would you immediately sell your home? Probably not, because you didn't buy it for next month. You bought it for the next 20 years. So why do people react differently with stocks? Because every second, someone is showing them a price. Green, red, up, down, up again. That constant information tricks your brain into believing you need to act. Most of the time, you don't.
3 reasons I would sell. There are only a few situations where I'd seriously consider selling. Reason 1, the business is fundamentally broken. Notice I didn't say the stock price is falling. Those are completely different things. A great business can have a terrible year. A terrible business can have a great month. Focus on the company, not the daily chart. Kodak once dominated photography. Then digital cameras arrived. The technology changed. The company didn't. The business model became obsolete. That's a reason to sell. Not because the stock went down, but because the future changed. A better opportunity appears. Money is limited. Imagine you own a small business growing 5% a year. Then another opportunity appears with stronger fundamentals, better management, and a larger market. Sometimes moving your money isn't giving up, it's upgrading. Great investors don't fall in love with investments. They follow opportunity. Your life changes. This one surprises people. Sometimes selling has nothing to do with markets. Imagine you're buying your dream home, or starting a business, or paying for your child's education. Money has a purpose. Investments exist to improve your life, not the other way around.
The companies everyone thought would last forever. History is full of giants. Blockbuster, Yahoo, BlackBerry, MySpace, Sears, Nokia. Each one dominated its industry. Each one looked unstoppable. Most disappeared. Not because they were bad companies, because the world changed faster than they did. Now ask yourself, what companies today might look unstoppable, but could struggle 10 years from now? Nobody knows. That's exactly why diversification matters. You don't need to predict the future, you just need to survive it. The rich think differently. Poor investors ask, what stock will make me rich? Wealthy investors ask, what system keeps making me richer? That single shift changes everything, because systems remove emotion. Systems create discipline, and discipline creates wealth. You don't become financially free because of one amazing investment. You become financially free because you made hundreds of ordinary decisions without quitting. At this point, you know almost everything you need to build wealth. But before we finish, there's one final lesson. The lesson I wish someone had taught me years ago. Because this one idea completely changed the way I think about money forever.
The Wealth Blueprint. If I had to start again tomorrow. Let's imagine something. Tomorrow morning, I wake up and everything I own is gone. No investments, no savings, no business, no expensive assets, just a normal job and a paycheck. What would I do? Not someday, not next year, tomorrow. Here's my plan. First, I build an emergency fund. Because investing while drowning in debt or living paycheck to paycheck creates unnecessary stress. Once I had a financial cushion, I'd begin investing automatically, every month. No exceptions. I wouldn't try to predict recessions. I wouldn't wait for the perfect moment. Because after years of studying markets, I've learned something important. The perfect time almost never feels perfect. Wealth is built in ordinary days. People imagine becoming wealthy as one huge event. A lucky investment, a winning lottery ticket, a business that suddenly explodes. But real wealth rarely looks exciting. It looks boring. It looks like saying no to things you don't need. It looks like investing when nobody is talking about investing. It looks like continuing even when you don't see immediate results. Think about building a brick wall. One brick doesn't impress anyone. Neither does the second or the 100th. But after years, people stop seeing individual bricks. They only see the castle. That's how wealth works. Nobody notices your small financial decisions today, until one day, everyone notices the life they created.
The question that changed my thinking. A mentor once asked me something I'll never forget. He didn't ask, "How much money do you want?" He asked, "What kind of life do you want?" Because money isn't the destination, it's the tool. If your investments grow, but your health disappears, you've lost. If your portfolio doubles, but you never spend time with your family, you've lost. Financial freedom isn't about buying luxury cars. It's about having choices. The choice to spend time with people you love. The choice to travel. The choice to say no to work you hate. Money buys options, and options create freedom. If there's one message I hope you remember after this video, it's this. You don't need to be a genius to become wealthy. You don't need insider information. You don't need perfect timing. You don't even need a huge salary. What you need is consistency, patience, discipline, and enough humility to admit that nobody can predict the future. The market will crash again. People will panic again. Headlines will scare everyone again. But history has shown us something remarkable. Great businesses adapt. Economies recover. Innovation continues. And patient investors are often rewarded. Imagine two people standing at the edge of a forest. The first person spends years searching for the perfect path. The second person simply starts walking. Slowly. One step.
A decade later, one of them knows every excuse. The other knows the way. Success doesn't belong to the smartest traveler. It belongs to the one who kept moving. So here's my challenge to you. Don't wait until you're making six figures. Don't wait until the market feels safe. Don't wait until you know everything, because you'll never know everything. Start learning. Start saving. Start investing, even if it's only a small amount. Because one day, your future self will look back and thank you for beginning earlier than everyone else. If you found value in this video, subscribe. Not because I want another subscriber, but because I want to build a community of people who choose long-term thinking over short-term excitement. And before you leave, answer one question in the comments. What's one financial habit you're going to start this week? Because your future isn't decided by one big decision. It's built by hundreds of small ones. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.